Y'all need to stop Googling venous leak. Yeah, that's right. I know you're self-diagnosing. How do I know this? Well, this is the Google Trends chart for the term venous leak. Notice that it's at the highest point that it's ever been. That's because guys like you are Googling this term and then self-diagnosing. Believe it or not, this is actually crushing your erections. So I want to help you understand that you do not have a venous leak. The problem that you have is 100% fixable. And I can say that because I thought I had a venous leak for 2 years, and it turned out that that wasn't what was going on at all. I felt hopeless and terrible for absolutely no reason, and I want to save you that trouble. So if you don't know me, my name's Cam Joyner, and I had erectile dysfunction, and I worried about venous leak for 2 years, and now I can get hard literally whenever I want, and I've been helping guys like you do the same for the last 7 years. So there's actually so many holes in the venous leak story that I can't go over all of them in this video. But if you would like to see peer-reviewed evidence that what I'm saying is true, that you do not have a venous leak, I actually created a course where I go much more in depth on this, and it's completely free and you can get access to it in the description. So to understand why you don't have a venous leak, we need to take a quick peek at how erections work. So the first thing that happens is you're exposed to some sort of stimulus. This could be touch, an emotion, it could be dirty talk. There's a lot of different things that can turn you on, but some sort of stimulus then tells your brain to send a signal down to your penis to start the process of getting an erection. So the next thing that happens is the smooth muscle tissue inside the corpus cavernosum starts to relax, which allows it to expand and fill with blood. What happens next is it pinches off the dorsal vein on the top of the penis, which prevents blood from leaving. So according to the American Urological Association, a venous leak is when blood is leaving the penis at faster than 5 centimeters per second. So basically they're measuring when the dorsal vein is not fully pinched off, the speed that blood is leaving. And if it's leaving too fast, it's considered to be a venous leak. So this is a dumb test because all it knows is that the blood is leaving the penis at that speed, but it doesn't take into account why. And there's a really important flaw in that testing method. There's something that's incredibly common that mirrors a venous leak, and that's sexual anxiety. What sexual anxiety does is when those spaces inside the corpus cavernosum begin to open up, this is a process of relaxation. So they're actually naturally tight. They're one of the few places in the human body where they're in a contracted state normally. And so as your brain tells it to get an erection, they begin to open up. And so what happens with sexual anxiety is instead of opening up fully, which is what causes the dorsal vein to get pinched off, they only open partially. So what that means is the dorsal vein stays partially open. And just depending on the level of anxiety, that could mean that it stays open so much that you lose your erection completely, or it could be just that you only have like a 60 or a 70 or an 80% erection. So if you think about this logically, you're struggling with erection quality, and there's two options. One of them requires an incredibly rare deformity, and the other one is anxiety, which you 100% have, which I will show you in a moment. Which one do you think is more likely? And you're probably like, well, Cam, I don't actually think I have anxiety. You do, though. And I'll prove it right now. So if you think about having sex right now, are you excited? Are you turned on? Are you really enjoying the thought of that and you can't wait to get into the bedroom? Or is there kind of a mixed feeling where you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get hard, so it might actually be an emotionally embarrassing experience instead of fun? That's sexual anxiety. That emotion, that mixed feeling that you're having is the number one sign that what you're dealing with is anxiety. The fact that you don't look forward to sex and think about it the way that you did when you were younger is because now you're starting to associate sex with the experience of losing an erection, which makes you feel bad. That's what sexual anxiety is. And so all you have to do to fix the problem is make it so that when you think about having sex, you're excited. So that when you walk into the bedroom, you don't feel bad. And if you do that, your erections come back like normal. So stop worrying about a venous leak. Start focusing on fixing the anxiety. And if you want to learn more about how to do this, here's a video I made about that topic.